Hello, welcome to a new series. I'm going to call this one my favorite multi-issues storyline. Perhaps one of the earliest Silver Age multi-issue storyline that I love is Fantastic Four 48, 49, and 50 because it introduced one of my favorite characters right here. You have the very first glimpse of the Silver Surfer. It's one of the great origin, great introduction of both characters. I just love the tease that Stan and Jack wrote. Look at that. It is not him that they fear, but they fear somebody else. So if you're reading this for the first time, I'm sure by this point of the panel you are wondering who else are they talking about. So as usual, you have the great art by Jack Kirby, and by this point, Joe Sinnott has getting to the groove of inking Jack Kirby. So it hasn't peaked yet. I mean, I think they peak maybe a year or two later as far as the collaboration, but it's starting to look really nice. I really enjoy the artwork in this book, and here you go. That's the very first glimpse of Galactus. I like this. I'm torn between this coloring that they use, but my goodness, heads off to Jack Kirby to come up with such a menacing, ass-kicking looking villain. I mean, at that point, wow. I can't imagine what it's like to be a young teenagers or 9 or 10 years old that opened to this very first page back in the 60s and see this panel. It would be mind-blowing awesomeness. And so that's the very first of the trilogy, as I call it. That's my beautiful copy. I'm not sure which my favorite cover of the 3 books, but I think 49 might be. 49 is probably the nicest one of the trilogy that I have, but I think this book here is probably an 8. This one here probably like an 8.5. It's really nice. It's really sharp. Gorgeous. As you can see, gorgeous edge. And the spine is actually really sharp. The problem with this book that knock it down is there's a reading crease somewhere here. If I can find it. It's hard to see. But there's somewhere around here there's like a reading crease that's like maybe about an inch long. But there you go. One of the better splash page. Well, this is definitely the best splash page of the 3 books in this storyline. Look at that. For whatever reason, they decided to change the color of his costume. I actually like the other one more because it's more colorful. What's neat about this book? Okay, let me show you. One of the great things about the Silver Age era of Marvel is the fan page. I read most fan page of every book that I read just because I find it interesting to read the comments and opinions of readers back in the days. Fantastic. I'll tell you, I can easily put the camera down right now and reread this book. It is fantastic. But I just want to go to one thing I want to point out of what makes this book even more special. I need to get to the letter page. Okay, here you go. Dear Stan and Jack, I just finished FF46. Okay, so that's the letter. Go down. You see that? Dave Cockrum. Dave Cockrum used to be very prolific, I guess, in writing letters to Marvel. This is when he was based in the Navy. You can see the address, that's the military address. And I think from my recollection on reading up on him over the years that he actually met his wife through the fan page, because back in the 60s, you can see they print the entire address. So if you want to contact any of the people that sent in the letters, you can send in send them a letter because the address is there. And I believe Dave Cockrum's wife wrote a few letters herself, and Dave and her start to communicate using each other address here that they can see, and eventually they become husband and wife. So that's one of the neat side story on Dave Cockrum meeting his wife through the fan page. Last but not least is issue 50. This one is actually pretty sharp, as you can see. Beautiful corners, just the way I like my books. Sharp edges, and all the flaws are in the spine area. There's 4 or 5 spine tick there. Beautiful cover, and the page quality of this one is very nice. All 3 books, I have to say, all 3 books I have really nice off-white to white colors. And as you can see, this ends the trilogy of the intro of Galactus and the Silver Surfer. I'm sure many people have that collected comic books are familiar with this storyline. But let me skip to a page that I think is also neat, that needs to be pointed out. If I can find it. There we go. Once again, let's go to the fan letter page. Okay, here we go. Dear Stan, Beware the Hidden Land was the greatest story printed in this century. Wow, such high praises. Look at that. Gerard Conway. You know who that is? Jerry Conway, the writer. That he became the writer at Marvel, and the man responsible for the death of Gwen Stacy. He was 14 years old, I believe, when he wrote this letter. So there you go, another example of the neat things that you can find from looking up on the fan page. So that's it. That's just give you a look of the book themselves. And so beside the great story and art of these 3 books, what make them also very special is that in fact you have people from Dave Cockrum to Jerry Conway having their letters printed in the inside of these books. So that's pretty neat. That's one of those neat little facts that other people may not know. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Until next time.